You're my number one.
I I know, I know. How could I not be? Look at this stash.
Uh, Actually, that's a beautiful stash.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I made it myself.
You didn't glue it on? That's
It's not a
wow.
prop.
It's a prop. But
Hi guys, welcome in for another episode of Gamer Chats, where I interview streamers about what led them to streaming, what some of their favorite games are, and who they are as a person. Today's guest is an affiliate streamer from Twitch whose name is Asurikai. He's super fun to hang out with and stream, and so of course I had to have him as a guest. I'll link his Twitch down below so that you guys can go and follow him if you don't already. But without any further ado, let's hop into today's episode. Well, how was your day?
it was it was stressful.
Why is
Very
that?
stressful. Well, very stressful at my job. So won't divulge too much information, but I do work in education technology, and I work on a website. And company's gone through a lot of changes in the last few years, and so it's been pretty tough, to be
Yeah.
honest. So to segue kind of into my personal life, that's where I get my outlets like this, or
Mhm.
um, playing games and hanging out with friends and whatnot. Um, so it just like relieves my stress. Yes, the cast is high.
Mine's in her tree. She's not always chatty.
Oh, mine is super chatty.
I
He's very chatty.
I just got her this new food, and she's never been very food crazy, but
Hmm. Oh, mine
she,
is obsessed. Obsessed.
yeah, she just like she has woken me up 2 mornings in a row now by like trying to open the bag herself because she wants it so badly.
Hmm.
Usually I just leave her food out and she kind of grazes whenever she wants, but she has to have this.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
So yeah,
But yeah, mine's pretty obsessed. So I have him on an automatic feeder because I sleep in as much as I can, and he's up at like 7 o'clock or earlier, ready to
yeah,
eat. I'm like, you know what, leave me alone.
yeah.
He'll try to wake me up. So yeah, yeah, he's a good boy though.
I mean, aren't most cats?
No,
Yeah.
most cats are brats, or the ones I've had. So I lived on a farm when I was a kid, and we had maybe 20 cats.
Whoa, that's so many.
Yeah, yeah, we had a lot. It was kind of crazy. One day my dad just came home with a car full of cats.
Did you guys have rodent problems?
No.
Okay. I mean,
Not too bad. Yeah. It was just I don't know, my dad did random stuff like that. One time we just had a few dogs, like come home
yeah.
with a dog or two, and she's like, "Okay, we got a new dog."
Well,
And just
you may not know this, but my brother is the urban chicken farmer.
yes, I followed him just yesterday, and I saw his chickens and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So because he got chickens, he started having rodent problems, and I think maybe like a couple snakes.
Oh
So
wow.
he got some outdoor cats, and that's like taking care of the problem. So that's why I asked.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. No, we just out in the farm of Iowa, and we had corn and a bunch of animals. We had chickens, we had pigs, we had all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah.
so did you just get sick of winter? Is that why you moved out to Arizona?
Yes, I
Hmm.
absolutely did. Well, originally was going to come here with somebody I was dating. I was 20, and
So like 3 years ago.
yes, just freshly 3 years ago. No, 20 years ago. Um, so yeah, he wanted to go into culinary, and then I wanted to go into art and design.
Hmm.
And I even toured Chicago. They had a really cool art institute, or
Okay.
um, fashion school, that I was like, oh, okay. So I toured there, and I was contemplating whether I was going to go into like graphic design or
Hmm.
into fashion design or interior decorating or interior design.
Right.
And finally, I was like, well, I think I'll have more fun in the digital realm.
Yeah.
So I got my hands into 3D animation and went to school for that. It kind of worked out, kind of didn't, but it got my foot in the door into the design world because it's when I graduated. That's when we had the market crash.
Oh wow. Oh man. Oh, that
Yeah,
had to be so stressful.
yeah. So I was freshly out of college, couldn't find a job. I moved out to California in the Bay Area
Yeah.
and did that for a few years. And but yeah, I got my foot into the door with graphic design and
Mhm.
marketing and stuff like that, and made my way back to Arizona because this is where I went to school. Because cost of living was so high,
Yeah.
um, so I moved back out here, and then yeah, now I'm in the ed tech industry, but still doing design work and marketing and products and electronics and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Would you say that's a
Yeah.
passion of yours?
Um, Maybe not education technology,
Mhm.
but I would say design is. Yes, I get a lot of joy out of it.
Mhm.
Just when you create just something for anyone and they really enjoy it, um, or it influences them in some way, or whether they get pleasure out of it or just something pretty to
Yeah.
make. Um, but I also have a passion. I have so many passions. I guess I don't know. I'm just all over the place.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. Because last year I started getting into voice acting.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I did a couple voiceover things at my work,
Mhm.
but I would love to get more into voice acting. You know, just cartoons or commercials or video games or whatever. Yeah.
Uh, so when we wrap up this interview, bring that back up to me.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
because then
Sure.
I'll bear a little bit more of my soul as to what I want this to eventually lead into.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh,
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that's really interesting. I've since I primarily, when I say primarily, watch anime, I
Mm-hmm.
notice when voice acting is good or bad because
Same. Yep.
you can't help it. It's just
Yep.
there is
It,
for sure bad voice acting.
yeah. There's a lot of terrible ones, and sometimes the bad ones are great too, because I like to make fun of them
Oh yeah.
or mimic them, or if they're so like just terrible. But some of the great ones, especially if you have a dramatic scene and it gives you the feels and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But there's certain ones I don't know. I'm very picky, so there's certain ones that I know some people just love, and I was just like, nope,
Yeah.
not for me, not for me. So I think it's kind of a um, to each their own type of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, and it's very influential. So that's probably why I got into it as well. It's
Yeah.
like I want to move people. I want to make a spot a difference.
Hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
don't isn't that what everybody wants? Well,
Some people want to blend in. I think
mm,
what I guess is kind of like, not to make this about me, but one thing that has kind of like started to put me off about my job so much lately is, you
mm,
know, we have employee numbers, and so you are just a number to the company, which is fine.
yeah,
It can be personal because of the interactions that you have with passengers or coworkers,
hmm
but at the end of the day, it's just, it
it,
it doesn't matter if you show up or not. Like, they're gonna have somebody to replace you real quick,
yep, yep.
and
Well, I feel that way. I think that's with every job, to be honest. Unless you are um, a talent in
mhm.
some kind of way where it's like nobody people can replace you even in like actors and all that kind of stuff. People can replace you, but if you made your mark and you're Billie Eilish,
Mhm.
nobody else can do Billie other than her.
Right.
Like we're so and so. So it's
Yeah.
like, but if you're a normal 9 to 5 person, yeah, it's just how it kind of goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I think there are just things that I want to feel. Everybody wants to feel unique, but like that's,
Hmm.
I do want to stand out a little bit, but not too much. And I think like starting to carve out my own little corner of the internet has been like really rewarding in that way.
Yeah, I think you're doing a really good job. I watched Runner's, you and Runner, your interview, and I learned a lot, not only about Runner, but about you as well. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. You see all the different layers, and um, it's yeah, it's just interesting to meet new people and see their story and connect and
Hmm.
find your audience, stuff like that. Yeah, so I get it. Yeah.
All right, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes,
Oh
so to
God.
speak.
Uh-oh.
This is one of my favorite questions because
Mm.
uh, every, everybody's going to have a different answer.
Mhm.
Well, maybe not. I mean, they're whatever. Anyways, so what would you say is the first game that like really impacted you?
Ooh. Well, there's a few different answers for that. The first game that I ever did play was Super Mario, of course. I just thought it was amazing,
Hmm.
really cool. Uh, because I'd never seen anything like that because it's interactive and it's challenging as well. Because it's not, to be honest, it's still not an easy game to play,
Yeah.
even when you get to the end. So, but I would say the one that probably moved me the most was Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So, um, it was during that era where there was some information leaked and whatnot, and you hear rumors and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So you're like, oh, is there multiple endings? And you try anything and everything to get the best ending.
Right.
Uh, and I played it as a kid. I think I was like 12 or 13 at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know, but uh, yeah, when one of the characters dies, and it was just so detrimental, and you're like, how can we get her back? Is there a way to get her back?
Yeah.
Is there anything? And so and I think at that time it had a lot of political influence too, with just like corruption of people and power,
Hmm.
and being the underdog and being an outsider or outcast or different. And so I related to that quite a bit, because I'm, a gay kid from Iowa,
Wait, you're gay?
So, a little bit, just a little. Don't tell anybody. It's our secret.
I'll edit it out. Don't worry.
Okay, thanks. But yeah, so it's like, it just, I really resonated with it because, yeah, even the main character, he was sought as different and
Hmm.
an outcast, or um and he had a target on his back. And I don't know, when I was a kid I always felt like that because I was bullied and I dealt with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and also video games were my escape
Yeah.
from the, real world. So,
So did that game kind of like shape how you picked the games you would play from there on?
hmm, that's a good question, because I have, I would say a big portion. I really got into the action adventure games,
Hmm.
like even Tomb Raider, and you're out there exploring and finding the secrets of the world, and that really that intrigued me because I've loved history and like the wonders of the world, and
Hmm.
very curious person. So, uh, yeah, those type of games I really enjoyed. And you get combat or beautiful cinematography kind of
Yeah.
cutscenes in there. I think that's what drew me to,
Hmm.
especially with the animation and the digital part of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what got me into it. Um, Especially 3D animation, because I played video games and you see all these really cool cutscenes and you're like, I wish the whole game was like this, but
Yeah.
we were so limited on everything. So
Yeah. Final Fantasy X, honestly, to this day, still impresses me with the cutscenes that they would have, and just I still feel like the graphics are relevant today because of the
they
nostalgia
are.
factor. And that was my first
Mhm.
Final Fantasy game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I think 7 was my first, and then I made my way back,
Yeah.
and then back forward.
I think
And then forward.
I tried the original Final Fantasy VII like just way too late, I think, because I
Mhm.
can't.
Yeah, the graphics.
I just can't anymore.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
it's very difficult.
which is really funny.
So,
Well, actually, like even the doors are hard to find. You
mhm.
know, like I
Yeah.
guess unless you know what you're looking for.
Yep.
But
Yep. So it's kind of crazy to see how far things have changed and warped, and I'm just really curious where the industry will go even from here. Will it become even more lifelike?
mhm.
Because I just played Alan Wake 2, and the
Yeah,
graphics on that are amazing. They're beautiful.
except for that one glitch, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. But oh yeah, I forgot about that. But overall, it's still a beautiful game
Yeah,
and
yeah.
very, very intriguing. So that kind of inspires me today, or games that I really get into is like a murder mystery or
Hmm.
something that kind of has a twist and makes you think rather than, fighting games, racing games. They're cool, they're fun. They take a lot of skill,
Hmm.
but it's also you're driving or you're kicking and punching and doing a bunch of
Yeah.
moves. So
In my
I
opinion,
like,
those games are mostly party games.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
unless, that's what you get paid to do. Or not paid to do,
r-
like you do tournaments.
yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed. So I like the ones that have a little bit of a story, but
Mhm.
not only storyline. Because after a while, you're like, okay, I'm tired of listening or
Yeah. Well,
reading. Yeah,
I
that's
uh I was playing Omori a month or so ago, and
mhm.
like the combat it's not boring, but every time I was just like, all right, like I'm ready to get back to the story.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
was a
That's
nice break so that I'm not like, constantly just doing like task after task to get to the next dialogue scene or whatever.
yeah.
But
You just kind of want to get to the next part or see what's part of the storyline.
yeah,
But yeah, I even also enjoy the horror games. I can't say it right,
yeah,
but I like scary games. So
mm-hmm,
Resident Evil, I played all those
yeah.
and a bunch of other scary games. And I don't know, that those kind of give you that thrill as well, like the
Do you know Fizzy Flask?
no.
Okay, so he's a streamer too. But he's currently playing Omori, but he recommended the Cat Lady to me.
A cat lady. That
Yeah.
sounds interesting.
It's an older game,
Hmm.
but I'd say it's more gore than horror, but
Okay.
it's like a kind of a side scroller. It's really not overly complicated, but
Mhm.
it's not for me because of how gory it is, but it might be up your alley.
Okay, but it's called Cat Lady.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I'll have
actually
to check
part of
it
a
out.
trilogy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, even better.
Yeah.
I like a good trilogy or something that has a storyline and they kind of like link together. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
No,
I'll check it out.
yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So maybe a slight trigger warning if suicide is triggering to you at all.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's been in a few different games that I've played, and I had to be careful with that.
Mhm.
even in, because I had no clue. And you're playing it, and then we're you're in the middle of a game, and audience is watching. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
look away. Yeah, there's been so many interesting things that people put in video games and how they kind of not get away with it, but also like how did that make it into like a mainstream game? Like I think I played Outlast and Outlast 2.
Mhm.
There was a birthing scene. I was like,
Really?
yeah. I was like, oh wow, 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 wow. We're watching that. We're doing this. Okay, okay.
Well, so this is one thing that I kind of think anime and video games do that are really unique. Like, because anime is cartoons, basically,
Hmm.
it can get away with a little bit more than it could if it were like live action
Hmm.
television. And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
what makes games another unique medium is that not only is it telling uh, sometimes, I mean, obviously, like Super Smash Bros. Isn't a deep story, but
Right.
but depending on the story, it hits a lot harder because you are that character,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah,
it makes it a
you're
lot
the
more
main
personal.
character. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah, it's like you transport yourself into this realm
Hmm.
and you kind of get lost into it, or you start to relate to the main character and see where they're coming from. And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
and
And
I love that about that form of entertainment. Like,
hmm.
of course, shows like Ozark, super heavy show, but
Yep.
I think if it were a video game, it probably would make it a lot more intense.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I forgot how we got there from here, but I'm not upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, it kind of went into different genres and what influenced, uh, the type of games that I
Oh, right,
like
right, right.
today. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what led you to becoming a streamer or content creator?
Ooh, okay. That is a long story. No, it's not a long story, but um, it mainly happened because of the pandemic.
Hmm.
Um, I I started the first time I was introduced to Twitch at all was through one of my friends. He liked Dungeons and Dragons,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, whatever. And I think were watching Critical Role.
Hmm.
Believe that's the group that we first watched, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're just like playing a game, and what is that? Like, I
Hmm.
didn't really understand, and I thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, you're gonna spend your time doing that, and it was like I didn't really understand it. And then pandemic hit, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a whole platform where you can meet people online and like just and it's through the digital spectrum. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I get it now.
yeah,
But something like Critical Role, it's such a huge, like platform that I don't know how if like once you get so big, is it, like it becomes a little bit more one-sided rather than, a smaller streamer, you're really engaging with your audience
yeah.
more on a one-on-one or one-to-many. Oh my god, my cat's biting the crap out of me.
Oh, I mean,
Just
that's the life of a cat owner. I've got
he's just like,
all kinds of cuts because Ellie.
that's what's going on right now. He's
Yeah.
like, ah. I'm like, oh god. Like, I'm trying to talk here. but um but yeah, it's like I think that's where I didn't relate or understand when it was just like you're watching people play a game and it's not as personal.
Mhm.
So once I started venturing into Twitch a little bit more, I saw, oh, okay, there are smaller streamers. You can play or do whatever you want. It's your own space.
Yeah.
And so that was my my goal is to connect with people. It
Yeah.
wasn't to like become famous and make a ton of money and all that kind of stuff. Like I have a full-time job. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was mainly to connect because kind of like you, it's like, well, outside of work, what do you have? Like
Hmm.
you have friends maybe back at home or family back at home because I'm from Iowa and I'm living in Arizona. I don't
Hmm.
have family out here,
Yeah.
so either making new friends and I made friends through college when I was in, but as outside of that, you're like, okay, what? Where do you meet people? Where do you go? Like, I'm not big into the bar scene,
Yeah.
and I'm not like it's fun once in a while, but some people like that's their weekend. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I figured, and it was during the pandemic, so you can't go outside, you can't go anywhere. And I got my cat, what else? I
Yeah.
don't go and stir crazy. So it's like, well, let's see what's out there.
Hmm.
And trying to think, one of the first games that I ever played, I think it was Dying Light. I
Hmm.
think is a zombie game.
That's
Um,
the one with Norman Reedus, right? No, that's Death Stranding. Totally different
mhm.
game.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I played that one. I didn't. It was okay. But Dying Light is one more of like a zombie game with parkour.
Okay. Okay.
So you're like jumping through buildings and you know all that kind of stuff. My cat's freaking out. Um, sorry, so distracted.
Oh, it's fine.
Uh, which is my life. Giant distractions all day, every day. Uh, but yeah, so that was my biggest thing was just to meet new people
Hmm.
and collaborate and find my group.
Yeah.
And I'm still finding it. I feel I
Hmm.
I've met a lot of great people on the way. I
Thank you.
have built you. You're my number one.
I I know. I know. How could I not be? Look at this stash.
Actually, that's a beautiful stash.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I made it myself.
Good. You didn't glue it on? That's
It's not a
wow.
prop.
It's a prop. But yeah, I'm still finding my crowd, my people, because with anything in life, people come, people go, people find new avenues. Pandemic's over, then you see people aren't stuck at home anymore, so now you're like, oh, I don't see so and so too often anymore, or which is
Yeah,
fine, but
that is that's one thing that I've kind of learned over the course of like my late 20s and now early 30s, I guess sneaking up on my mid 30s, but is you always hear like nothing's permanent, and I just never thought that applied to like even platonic relationships, like romantic relationships. Most of them end, let's be real. But you think what they do?
yeah, I just wasn't ready for that. But yeah,
But
you're right.
even like, platonic friendships, people change. And
Oh, people change, or you find um it's like sometimes you have an idea of who a person is, and then
mhm,
you kind of see like, well, maybe we're apples and oranges. We're not really copacetic, or we're just not good for each other.
yeah.
There's been plenty of times where I've been in kind of like codependent relationships where you
Mhm,
give and you give and you give and you try to support or you be there for that person, or vice versa. Like maybe you're too I love to joke around, and there's been times where like I hurt somebody's feelings by making a joke, and you're like, now I feel bad, but you own up for it.
mhm,
But it's also like just sometimes people aren't just made for each other. You
yeah.
can't, as much as you love to have everybody like you
Mhm.
and have everybody be your friend. That's just not how it works.
Oh no, everybody loves me. That's never been a problem for me.
Hmm.
I
I bet. Sorry.
uh, yeah, I don't know why you're laughing.
Sorry.
No, I have
My
a bit of a dry sense of humor, and it doesn't really always work for everybody.
yeah.
So,
I feel you. Yeah, yeah. Mine's got a little a little twist to it. Yeah.
yeah, like a lemon. Is that what you mean?
I was gonna say like a knife, but you know, it's just like,
Okay, so this rose does come with thorns. Got it.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes I bite back, but yeah, it's it's still really interesting though, meeting so many different types of people
Hmm.
online. Because depending on where you're at, certain cities, if you're in like if I was back in Iowa, I'd say 90% of the people I'd meet were white. Just saying,
Yeah,
like that's just yeah. So it's really interesting to see online all the different types of people, the different walks of life, and it's and I feel like I learn from that too.
yeah,
So just seeing like you're not just living in this white bubble,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you kind of meet all these different types of people, and you're like, this is really cool, and then you see what's appropriate, what's not, or you just learn um different things, and
Hmm.
I don't know, I really love it. And there's been times where I think you were talking to Brunner about this, when you come to streaming and your numbers, and you get
Hmm.
kind of caught up on that, and I got hyper focused and down on myself about it, because it's like, how what else can you do other than be yourself?
Hmm.
Like, do I have to say the right thing, say the da 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 to get the audience to come in,
Yeah,
when it's like, I think it all has to deal with outside of Twitch itself, like
yeah,
building and connecting your audience through other platforms.
hmm
And but I don't know where I was going with that, but I where was I going with
So
that?
we went from being in a white bubble, being connected to different people because of Twitch, watching Runner and I talk
Yeah,
about.
see, we went around the world. Um, no, I think where what I was going with was there was a point where I was thinking about quitting.
Right, yeah, talking about the numbers.
So that's where I got really focused on the numbers, and finding your worth in your numbers
Hmm. Oh yeah, well that's deep.
versus it's a big thing. It's just like, if you don't have the numbers, then you're less than or whatever. But then I had to step back and think, what was the reason why I started this? It
Mhm.
wasn't for that. It was to connect
Yeah,
with people. So I stuck with it, and I changed my focus and attention on that
hmm
to just having a good time, playing the games I enjoy, and sharing it with the people that uh, I care for, really.
yeah,
Because I say the people who show up on a regular basis, I know a lot about them, and I don't know, I think it's really cool.
yeah. I think I
Yeah.
was up until last week. I was bouncing between 1.9 average viewers to 2.5, and then I was like, well, good thing I'm more concerned about, or more concerned, more interested in doing this podcast anyways. And
Hmm.
so then just like, I don't know what happened. I had like a few really good streams back to back, and then I woke up to we're inviting you to become an affiliate email, and I was
Yeah, I was
like,
like,
what?
yeah,
Me?
isn't that great? Yeah,
Yeah.
you, the mustache man.
I think that's what it is.
It's the mustache. It's got that Riz, man.
Yeah. So
I I'm a Gen Z.
I think it's just a Midwest thing. So
Yeah.
my sister, she now she lives in like I think she lives in West Virginia or maybe just Virginia, whichever one's closer to DC. And
Gotcha.
she was visiting me last year,
Hmm.
and she went to go get us coffee and donuts, and she came back and she was like, "There's mustaches everywhere here," and I was like, "Wait, you mean I'm not special?"
That's what you took from it. You're not special.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Seeds.
As much as I like to pretend like I'm not very egotistical, I do have a little bit of one. And
Yeah, I think everybody does. And you
yeah.
should. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, to a certain extent,
yeah.
you know what I mean. But everybody has an ego, where they
Uh,
think,
okay, so speaking of egos, this made me think of Napoleon because
oh,
he had a overinflated ego, obviously.
mm-hmm.
Did you know that he actually was a normal height? Yeah.
What's normal height?
Well, he was not like 5 feet.
Oh,
You
oh,
know,
he wasn't?
no, I think he was closer to 6 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me
I didn't.
Google it to verify, but because my
Spreading false news.
well, my buddy told me, and I usually just trust what he says because he's never lied to me.
Hmm.
That is the third question. Okay, he was 5'6", which is like the
That
same height as
that's
me.
still that's average. Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm very average.
It's
And
nothing wrong with being average height. I'm above average height. No, I'm 6'4".
what?
Hmm.
Damn.
Big dude.
How is it
Don't
expensive
ask me
shopping
if
for
I.
pants?
No, they're not. Well, no. Nowadays, no. It's like the average price. So, yeah, it's I've always gotten that question. Do you play basketball? No, I
I
don't.
that would not have even crossed.
Well, as a 40-year-old man, I no, obviously not now. But when I was young,
Yeah.
18 to 20 years old, they're like, do you play basketball? Like, no.
Well, yeah, everybody automatically assumes if you're tall, you should play basketball.
Hmm. Basketball or I don't know, or if you wash your windows, like, hey, I need to hire you. Oh my God, whatever.
I've never heard that one.
Oh yeah, every time you're going out, because I can, without getting a ladder, I can reach the top, and you're like going for it. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, because they can't reach. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, there's nothing wrong with being average height.
No. I mean, I don't have any choice in it. This is.
Hey, they make those platform or those lifters now. So
No. I
no.
I just don't want to look like I have a fragile ego. I do, but I don't want it to be obvious.
Oh yeah, you don't want people to know that you have one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like it can't be immediately obvious, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you don't want to deal out all your cards. But yeah, you're talking about fragile ego. I can relate to that. I think as a sensitive guy, it's I don't know, like that was one of my biggest fears as being on stream was,
Being
you know,
tall.
people just judge you on being tall. No, well, one being my age,
Yeah.
that like I'm an older guy. I have gray hair. Um, most people when I talk to them, they're like, "Oh, you're younger," but then when you get the young ones in,
Oh,
the young ones, they're brutal.
yeah.
Especially if you're playing like there was a point where I was playing a lot of Overwatch, and the people come in and they say some cruel or mean things, or just bring you down, try to bring you down. And even with Dead by Daylight was like that too. And that was a big fear of mine, is like being judged by so many people. And it's very one-sided because you're on the other side of the other people are on the other side of the screen. They can choose to say something or not, or do whatever, on their own end, and to each their own. But that was a big fear when I first started, was the judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've kind of, I still get nervous here and there, but overall I just like, this is me. I can't be anybody else. So
Well, and another thing I've noticed is most people, at least in the Twitch universe, they are showing up to engage with you, and it's usually not to be mean.
Yeah, the people who tend to say hurtful or spiteful things, or homophobic, whatever, or ageist things, you can just block and move on.
Yeah.
And then you can, laugh with your friends and make fun of them.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I was just like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? That just happened.
I
Who
mean,
does that?
they're shutting out really interesting people in their lives if they're going to be hateful towards people from different walks of life.
Agreed. Yeah, I that's where you take reflection, and then see, ooh, that person's probably hurting to lash out and do or say those type of ignorant or hurtful things. But it's also like, I don't have to deal with that either. So I just, I block and move on, and put my energy towards the people that I do vibe and engage with. So so that's been my biggest, I think that was my biggest hurdle at the beginning, was the judgment, and seeing how people would take me, or if I did say the wrong thing. Sometimes you make a joke and you're like, oh, that didn't land, or
yeah I've definitely
like, that one didn't age well, or whatever.
Well, I think I just like the taste of my own foot, so
Pink unlocked. No, I got you. Sorry.
No, I'm here for it. I vibe with your sense of humor. That's why even if I don't engage when I'm watching your streams, I am there and I'm vibing.
Oh, good. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was always down on I painted yesterday, and those are usually my highest requested, but lowest engagement.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, they're like, do the painting, and then, but I realize everybody else is either vibing, and just like playing a game and listening, and not like, or they're just watching. And I was like, okay, so maybe that's what's really happening. So there's points where you kind of go with the trends, or you look at the numbers and you're like, what's working, what's not working, what's good. And so I kind of just like put those thoughts in the back burner and just do what I want.
Yeah. Well, I noticed, because you had, I think, maybe 15 people in yesterday at least. And
nice.
You're just like, you're right. Like, not many people were engaging, but you had an audience. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah. So it's just, I'd say month by month, I see it grow a little bit more, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool to see where it goes. Versus, you have the other friends that get like the overnight. You're like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah,
that's insane. But I'm very proud of the work that I've done and everything that I put into it, and I'm looking forward to.
I think you should be, especially the community that you're building. Like,
yes.
You definitely have your regulars, and they are happy to be there. And I've enjoyed. I especially watching you, Runner, and Saint Cathedral interact with each other. Y'all are hilarious.
We're messy. Yeah, we get messy. Yeah. I love cathedrals so much. I think that's how I met uh Runner. I think that's how it happened. I
Hmm.
have a terrible memory, but I'm pretty sure that's how I met him. And then ever since I was just like, okay, I can vibe with this person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. How did you meet Runner?
Um, I was in this Discord server that was a help people get followers server,
That's right. He was telling
and
me. I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
nothing against those kinds of Discord servers. That's just I didn't like it's not a genuine way to gain. I mean, like to a degree, it is a genuine way to gain followers because
Hmm.
that's how I developed my friendship with Justin Hadoken, if you know him, and Runner. And then from there, like I kept in touch with Justin and Runner after I left that server, and now I'm a mod in Justin's Discord server.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a very serious role because we're not like a huge server, but like
Yeah.
that is where I hang out most of the time, like when I'm not streaming or hanging out in other people's streams.
Hmm.
And then Runner started hanging out with me, and then I met Neen or Amnam Babe, if you know her.
Hmm. Yep.
And
Yep.
then, from there it's just kind of started to grow, and I really like that
I
because,
love that.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I really like that I'm sort of like actually Neen made my new profile pic.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
It was my
That's really good.
emote.
Heck yeah.
So
I love
yeah,
it. Very cool. See, that's I don't know. I find that kind of stuff really interesting that you can uh just connect with different people and
hmm,
help each other out, and we're all kind of in the same boat, really,
yeah,
you know? So it's kind of cool to lean on to each other because I've always had that aspect of um, you only have yourself to rely on,
it's
and
true.
I've done that for so long
Hmm.
of just like doing everything myself
Hmm.
when I was like, oh, okay, I do have resources, I do have friends, or I can, buy something. But
Yeah,
it is really cool to see that you have this community and you can bounce ideas off of each other or get assets. Like sometimes some of the emotes or the sound clips that you use,
yeah,
like, oh yeah, I have that one. Like, so I just sent like Cathedral some stuff. Or and since I do voice sometimes, I know my voice is on at least three other streams.
really,
Yeah, they'll
that's
use
awesome.
my yeah, they'll use my voice. They're like, "You're funny." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Can I have that?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it. I don't care."
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of fun. Um, but yeah,
Your
it's nice.
new follower, um, what do they call them? Banner? Is it a
Alert,
banner? Yeah, alert. Yeah. Oh
alert.
my god. When I saw that, I died.
Not the hot dog.
Yes.
And then the voice, the sound, that's me.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so funny. Or even when you transition from scenes like to your
Oh yeah.
away
Oh
screen
yeah.
or.
Oh yeah. That's my voice. I was like, okay, let's make a twist and make it funny. So it's not like, I don't know, just like a sparkle or something, because I was, my theme is kind of just pastels and gay, like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Um, so I was just like, let's add some flamboyancy to it. Let's
Yeah.
just get funny and silly with it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm planning on talking to somebody who would know how to design, or I can probably figure it out myself, but um
Mhm.
I want to make like an invitation to this podcast, like
Oh yeah,
you're
like an official, yeah,
yeah,
like an Evite almost. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and like kind of describing it, and I'll figure that out later, but that's
Another cool thing that I thought, I know we're talking, Well, another thing that I thought would be great for you, which I've seen other people do for interview podcasts, they will stream them live.
Ah, that
Would
is a
you
good
ever?
idea.
Yeah. So my friend, he goes by Captain Orion. He has done several podcasts, and there's a I think now they on Twitch itself they have a new module. It's called Guest Star.
Mhm.
So I think you can invite another person, another streamer or whatever, onto your stream as well, and it's like a dual casting um, scenario. But if otherwise, you can still do your Zoom call, or I've seen other people use Google Meets is another
Mhm.
big one. So you could have your camera and then their camera, and either side by side,
Mhm.
and then you could have that going, and you have a live audience as well. And
Interesting.
I yeah, I think it changes the dynamic of it as well. So you get different questions
Mhm.
and people engaging as well.
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna do like multiple seasons, I guess. Like, and originally I was thinking it would take me a long time to get up to 10 episodes, so 10 episodes is gonna be the end of a season. But
Hmm.
I think this is episode 6, so
Hell yeah.
yeah. Uh, the trick is like finding people, but we're here to talk about you right now. So,
I know. I tend to do that as well. I'm like, let's talk about you. I'm engaged. I want to learn about you.
uh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, actually, you're right. This doesn't have to be so one-sided. Uh,
Right.
it's I just I'm curious to see what it'll evolve into, because it seems like
Mhm.
it actually is kind of like gonna be my bread and butter, which I'm super
Mhm.
grateful for. This is what I love to do. I love playing
Yeah.
games, of course. Like, this fucking
Heck yeah.
awesome that I'm an affiliate and people like want to hang out with me.
Heck yeah.
But this is more personal, and I really like that because I like getting to talk to people who have different experiences with life and different takes on things than I do, and it's a good learning opportunity
Hmm.
and a growing
Yeah.
opportunity.
I like that. I think that's amazing. I've always enjoyed I also listen to a lot of podcasts,
Mhm.
and hearing the engagement, and sometimes even if you're following a certain person for a very long time,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, they kind of, you rinse and repeat some of the questions that people normally ask, like, about their career or things like that. But
Mhm.
then you start getting into like different depths of them, and you see different sides, uh, even on different types of podcasts. So there was this one that I really liked. I think it's called the Man Enough podcast,
Mhm.
and they ask like some very deep, personal questions that make people kind of think and open up as well. So you kind of dive underneath the surface of, what you could go over the basics of like what inspired you. That's
Mhm.
okay. You kind of get into that. You can go on a higher level, but then you can get in a deeper level of like personality.
Yeah.
So with them, they ask like, when was the last time you didn't feel man enough? It's like that's a very personal question. So it's like that's
Yeah.
and everybody's
Huh.
everybody's scenario is kind of different. So I don't know. Maybe that's another scenario or thing that you can add. Not that specific question, but just saying like different types of questions where you're diving in and meeting people and finding what makes them tick. What is your purpose?
Yeah.
What do you see as your purpose in life? Because I think everybody has a different level or degree, especially in what era of life they are in. They are in.
I kind of go back and forth with that thought, actually. Like, I don't
Yeah,
always think there has to be a purpose. I mean,
same.
the fact
I
that
go.
we're here at all is like, you know, I think your purpose is existing, and then you choose what to do with that.
Hmm. True, true, but it's also what do you make of it?
Yeah. Like
Well,
what makes you feel fulfilled?
fulfilled.
I have a full range of feelings.
I yeah.
Oh, I sure
Would you
do.
would you say you're an emotional person?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
same.
It's so I started on Lexapro last March or
Oh,
April
fun.
maybe. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Maybe not for my partners.
Yeah. Oh,
It can be kind of frustrating sometimes.
I got you. It is
But
what it is. But
it's so I was crying probably every day for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then there was a stretch of uh 2 weeks where I just didn't get off my couch.
oh,
And like anything, I would cry at the drop of a hat. It didn't matter what it was. It could be happy, it could be
hmm
sad, it could be I spilled some water
hmm
on my foot, and
yeah,
then
yep,
so that kind of led me to like, all right, I gotta do something here because I just can't live like this anymore, or I will not be living anymore. And
agreed. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's a. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I go to therapy myself. I
Hmm.
went um uh during the pandemic because my mom passed away from
Oh, I'm so
uh
sorry.
yeah, it's all good, but it I was kind of there with you. Like
Hmm.
it's just you don't know, that's when you start doing self-reflective of like what's the point? What's going on? What are we doing?
Hmm.
And I agree that maybe there isn't one reason or
Yeah.
purpose for life, but it's also to what I want to do is walk through life being my true self
Mhm.
because I've tried being other people.
Yeah.
I think we all have at one point because you want to be liked, you want to be that, you want to fit in or whatever. But I want to
I
be
just want to
true.
comment on that real quick before I forget.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
This is just for me, and I don't want to. I have tried to live for other people rather than living true to myself, and I think that fits
Yep.
a little bit more than I have tried being other people. Like maybe I have, but
No.
trying to live my life in a way that's pleasing to uh,
Yep.
my friends or my parents or
Yep.
whoever.
Yeah. So I also have dealt with that, the people pleasing as well. Um and it's you're there to, it's like a nasty mentality of like you're there to serve.
Yeah.
You're there to be there. You want to be there for people.
Hmm.
But then at the end of the day, who's there for you?
Yeah, there has to be a limit, and
Yeah, there has to be a limit. So it's there has to be a balance,
yeah.
I think, where you give enough away but still keep a part of yourself. And that is something I'm still learning, but uh and that even goes with the entertainment. It's like I want to make you laugh. I want to make you.
Yeah.
I get joy out of that as well. But then it comes to a point where is it now? Dance monkey dance,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh gosh, why do I do that? But so it's like even though it's been a journey for me, I'm still learning day by day
Yeah.
and finding my good balance. And I just want to be at the end of the day or throughout my life, I want to be proud of what I brought, being there for the people that I care for
Mhm.
or the people that I can bring joy to, and feel like you are not an outcast.
Yeah.
You have a community. There are a bunch of weirdos out there or silly
Yeah.
people from all different ages that you can hang out and just be you. You don't have
Yeah.
to be anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, because anybody's gonna that's gonna stick around for, the
Mhm.
the facade that you're putting on is not somebody, and you can't be yourself, then that's not somebody you want a part of your life.
Hmm. So I think that's a big misconception of people who start streaming is like, oh, so and so who's really successful does this, so I have to do that.
Yeah.
Versus people can see through that.
Hmm.
If you're not being genuine of who you are, you can have all the flashiest things and the whatever, but at the end of the day, if you're not being true, I don't think they're gonna stick around for long.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my words of wisdom.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh, One thing I want to say, and then I want to ask a couple more questions because
Okay.
somehow
Yeah. Yeah.
we've
We
hit an
can.
hour and 5 minutes here.
Oops.
Uh, it's flown by in my mind. I
Okay.
feel like we
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
started. Um,
Yeah.
One, I don't think you're old. Of course, I work with a lot of ladies that are in their 60s and 70s. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
like
Oh,
40 seems pretty young to me.
oh, okay. Well, yeah. I just like, you see like the 20-year-olds and they're like,
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I wish I was there, but your crowds and your demographics and blah 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 and algorithms and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So that was something that really got to me. I was just like, if I only started like 5 years before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that even with my job, like if I had started when I was 22, I would be in a much different, like I would be working different trips and better trips by now. But
Yeah.
you know, I complain about a lot about my job, but I do. There are things that I definitely appreciate because I've done a lot of things. But whenever you've done anything for a certain amount of time, it's just like that's all you know anymore, and it's hard to appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um,
So what would be your number one thing that you do appreciate about your job?
uh, I think right now it's the people that it's led me to meeting. Um,
See, that's what it's about.
because the best friends that I have right now, they're flight attendants, and they're like family to me because they've seen me grow and change over the last 7 years, and
Mhm.
there are some connections that I've lost because I have grown in different ways than they have, and that's something I'm super thankful for. Like
Mhm.
that's why I love Chicago. First of all, let me say that I love living here. Um, it's been my favorite city that I've ever lived in my entire life. I don't think I could leave because I would feel I feel like I was missing a part of myself.
Right. You'd be leaving home.
Yeah,
It's basically home. Yeah. It's
yeah.
home.
Um, so you kind of talked about your initial jitters. What um, what do you do to help like cope with those feelings? And do you
I
still get them?
cry. No, I don't cry. Um I just how do I get past the jitters? Yeah, I know you kind of asked Runner this too.
Hmm.
Was just like he kind of like hypes himself up or gets through, meticulously goes through things. I don't. I kind of just I don't know. I have ADHD. I just kind of wing it and say, "Let's go." Like I
Yeah,
just because if I overthink it, then I won't do it.
right.
Or I overthink it and then I'll get more nervous and then that clearly shows on stream. So usually you'll notice I laugh a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of my nervous tick.
Okay,
So
okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I kind of just laugh through things and just like, just like kind of get through it. Um, but uh I don't get the jitters too much
Mhm.
anymore. Um, it's kind of like clocking in. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Because I have a schedule. I do it and that's a big thing, is having a schedule. Try to stick to a schedule, because that's when people can predict when you're available,
Hmm.
or who will kind of show up because they probably have a similar schedule.
Yeah.
Most people have a schedule. So that's how I kind of think about it, is
Mhm.
like clocking in and like seeing people and having fun and entertaining and
Yeah.
just just vibing. So I I don't get them too much anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you still are there still games that you play when you're not streaming?
Yes. Typically I'll play Overwatch 2. I do like it a lot, but
Hmm.
I noticed that um I don't know, I didn't get too much engagement when I was playing a lot of it
Hmm.
on stream. And most of my friends, they're like, I have no idea what's going on. They're just like completely lost,
Yeah.
like, because there's so much going on and just da 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 da.
Hmm.
Once in a blue moon, I will play it on stream, but typically that's my go-to
Yeah.
that I'll play off.
Just to like kind of shut your brain off and
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just easy to kind of, you can play as long as you want, or you can turn it off at any time.
Yeah.
So versus like a storyline, like if I'm playing anything with a storyline, I want the audience to come with me to experience it as well, because I think
Yeah.
it's really like we're experiencing this journey together, versus um, a shooter that you can pick up anytime. Same like
Yeah.
with Dead by Daylight, but Dead by Daylight gets a little too much. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
people get nasty on there. So I was just like, it's not fun anymore. So I'll
Right.
typically, if I'm playing with a group of friends, then I'll do Dead by Daylight. If I'm just playing by myself, I'll do Overwatch.
Yeah. Uh okay, what other kind of nerdy content do you enjoy?
Ooh, oh, that's a good. Well, other than my miniatures, I don't know. Like I really like minis. I like painting. I like crafting. I love D&D. Love Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have a long running group that you play with?
no, so that's been another issue that I've had come across. It's like finding a good group to that's consistent and sticks to everything. Like I've played in certain campaigns, but then they either fall apart, people get
Hmm.
busy, and da 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 da. I'm the type of person, hey, I'm free every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like these are the days that I will, if it's important to me, I will block a day,
Hmm.
and that day will stay forever until I can't.
Yeah.
So
So actually,
I
that's I've meant to ask this question like for the
mhm.
last hour.
Yeah.
When did you start incorporating painting minis into your streams?
Ooh, that was probably year and a half. So like halfway through, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like alliteration, so miniature Monday. I was like, let's do it on Mondays. That's
Yeah.
fine. But then, Mondays are Mondays, so you're like, ugh, I'm not painting.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all, I'm not painting. But I I I do it more often now, and I
Hmm.
really like it. I just kind of got caught up on the numbers thing for a minute,
Yeah.
or the engagement, and I was like, oh god. But now I'm just like, whatever. I'll just do it because I like it and I want to get it done, and I have such a backlog of miniatures. So,
I have a buddy who he's big into Warhammer, and
hmm
he I truly don't know how he has the kind of like dedication that he does because he has so many painted minis. And
hmm
he was
it's a
like, I don't
lot.
know, I just set aside like 30 minutes at least every night and that's what I do. And I
Yep.
was like, every night though? Like you do the same thing every night? How?
hmm
And
Yeah.
so but he's a super interesting dude. He's like probably around your height, very buff, like ginger.
Yeah.
He's a hot dude,
Is
and he's just like
he single? Hi. No.
he. Unfortunately for you, he's engaged to one of my friends.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
You missed your chance.
Okay, the window is gone.
You can still meet him though.
Okay, that's fine. No, so with painting, it's like therapy. It's like your calm place. Like people have their thing, whether
Hmm.
it's reading or they're, like they're finding their thing that they wind down to.
Yeah.
Some people doom scroll, some people, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, so it's like finding your thing to chill out. So yeah, that's another thing that I use to kind of zone out.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, so sometimes I'll paint off stream
Hmm.
and it's just the hours will melt away and I'm having a good time doing my own thing and not thinking about anything other than what I'm working on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like therapy. Yeah.
Okay, so I have two more questions, I think, and then
Okay. Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
wrap up.
Okay.
Um, what is something that you wish that you knew either early on when you started streaming or before you started streaming?
Um ooh, not everything needs to be perfect.
Yeah, that
So,
is really easy to get caught up in.
yep. So if you're a brand new streamer and you feel like okay, and uh what is it? What is the quote? It's like comparison is
The thief
the
of joy.
yes.
Hmm.
So if you're comparing yourself way too much to everybody around you, whether you see your friends growing a lot faster than you
Hmm.
or whatever, it's like why me? Why me? But also like hey, celebrate that friend
Hmm.
rather than dog on yourself. Like they hit the mark or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So celebrate the people around you for their successes because if you're doing that for them,
Hmm.
most likely they're going to be doing that for you and they're going
Yeah.
to support you the same way. So don't compare yourself and not everything needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
So as long as you got the game streaming and maybe even if you don't have audio, some people don't have audio.
Yeah.
Just
Just,
just go, just do it.
yeah.
Because if you're waiting for everything to be perfect, the transitions, the emotes, the da 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 da, da
Hmm.
that can build over time. You
Yeah.
can you can implement and add things. You can change it on the fly. It doesn't have to be this and nothing else. You can purchase, packs of stuff,
Hmm.
whether it's graphics or anything like that. There's plenty of resources out there.
Hmm.
Um, and it doesn't have to break the bank.
Yeah.
You don't need the to spend a grand or whatever on microphones and cameras and stream decks or whatever,
Yeah.
like it, build it over time and see if you can if you like it. And if you like it, then pursue it and then start dumping money into it or whatever,
Hmm.
like make it a hobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's wrap up with your most memorable moment.
Oh God.
That's
Oh.
what's been your most memorable streaming moment?
Hmm. That's hard because I can't remember anything.
Fair enough.
um, I want to. I think. I think probably one of the biggest memories. I don't know. It's just like every time I meet a new person,
Hmm.
I know it's multiple memories, not just one specific, but it's like meeting new people and then see who sticks around.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, you're really cool. So there's specific relationships that I've really um like grown to love and just see like whenever I see a new person come in
Hmm.
or see somebody that I've known for a while, it still takes me back to like the times I meet them, or
Yeah.
you know, you can reminisce, or you know, on things in the past. But I can't say that there's anything specific like that was so amazing and never, you know, like there's really good moments, but I think the most important is just meeting the new people
Yeah.
and having the friends that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asurikai, it's been such a pleasure having you here. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you made time for this, and
Woo! We did it.
yeah, I
Thank
didn't,
you.
I wasn't worried. I was trying to say nervous, and then I started saying worried instead, so
I
I said
like
worried.
worried. I like worried. I like it.
Maybe that'll be in the dictionary next year.
Yeah, yeah. It's a new term. You're like, oh my gosh, that one streamer made it so fetch. I don't know.
Well, maybe it'll catch on with Gen Z, like worthy. Like,
I was like, oh, well, I hear nervy, so worthy is worried and nervous. Yeah.
yeah. So once again, thank you, Asurikai, for coming in. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
having you. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Yes, it
No
was
pressure to
great.
say yes.
Um, no, it was great. It was great. I
Yeah.
had so much fun.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed getting to watch this episode as much fun as it was to make it. I really enjoyed getting to hang out with the Surikai. I've been in his streams a few times now, and every time it's been a blast. Even if I'm just lurking, he's nice to have on in the background because he's very funny. Like I said, I will be linking his Twitch down below, so please go show him some love over on Twitch, and I will see you for the next episode.